President Barrow has visited affected families in the North region amidst the devastating windstorm that struck the country. The leader of the ANRD party says the burning of his car is politically motivated. And the frequent among Gambians, including drivers, well, these and more coming ahead in Gambia 24. This is Africa TV and you're watching the Gambia 24 News Bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante. And now the news in detail. And we begin with matters of the presidency. President Adama Barrow has visited victims of the heavy windstorm that hit the country on Wednesday night in the North Bank region. The storm struck Gambia and left 10 people dead, many of whom are said to be from the North Bank region. The windstorm also affected over 3,000 people and more than 1,500 others entirely displaced. The heavy storm is said to be moving at an estimated speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Animals were also killed as part of the disaster, which resulted to the destruction of homes and related properties. Rainstorms crippled key infrastructure by the National Water and Electricity Company, causing a power outage and shortage in water supply across the country. The National Disaster Management Agency, as well as the Gambia Red Cross Society, has been on the field to assess the level of damage since the rocking of the disaster. And from that, of course, update there to some other news, because in recent months, the spike of fuel price has been constantly skyrocketing, causing great concern among Gambian citizens. In the voice of the drivers, this situation would not only affect them, but also ordinary Gambians who depend on commercial transportation for their day-to-day activities. As featured in this report, some commercial drivers at Serekunda told Africa TV how the situation affected them in their line of work. Kadil Seka tells us more of that in this report.
Many social issues affecting the lives of the ordinary Gambian. Increment of fuel pump prices is among the matters that frequently affects Gambians, especially the commercial drivers and passengers. With constant increment of fuel pump prices since the beginning of the year, drivers are devastated with the situation, as they still question the reason why fuel prices continue to persist, causing problems to them. Abdullah Sanyang explained how the spike in fuel price affected him.
Every month you would notice that there is an increment in the price of fuel. At the moment, the price of fuel is very expensive. You will work the entire day and the money you earn will be used to purchase fuel. The little money you are supposed to take home will not be enough. It affected us in many ways.
Khalifa Keita is with the view that the drivers and transport union should be consulted before increasing the prices of fuel. He added that the union is not effectively working in solving the challenges of the drivers.
The hard truth is that the drivers are not respected and belittled. I said this because I believe that if the government is taking this step, the union and drivers should be consulted, as it affects them directly. How many times have they increased the price of fuel and the drivers are still keeping quiet about the issue? Is that a right thing to do? The second thing is, what I want to address is our union. It is not working towards the betterment of our welfare. If you launch your complaints to the union, the end result will not be satisfactory. Gas oil was priced at $46 and now it is at $56. Every day you go to the fuel station, all you will hear is the fuel price is increased again. I believe if you are to increase the prices, governments should announce it through the media so that it can be communicated to all.
Babukar Sambu appealed to the government to try and solve this menace, describing it as a source of living that cannot be abandoned.
Difficult, senior driver, Yeah, so why shouldn't pass be Yamga?
The government should come out and solve the problem of increasing the price of fuel. Every time you hear that, the price of fuel has been increased and the transport fares remain the same. I urge them to help us to stop the spike in fuel prices. All what we do now is to cope with this situation because it is our job and we cannot stop it just because the fuel price is not controlled.
Appearing before lawmakers on Tuesday to answer questions raised by the National Assembly members, the Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs responded to the issues of spike in fuel prices. According to him, the Gambia doesn't produce oil and hence price stabilization is beyond their control. However, he said from January to date, they have subsidized to the tune of over $25 million. He added that if they pass through the real prices of the market, it would be a disaster, noting that availability is better than scarcity. Khadija Seka, iAfrica News.
Well, Khadija Seka reporting there as the increase in fuel prices in the Gambia raises concern among citizens. Now, the party leader of Alliance for National Reorientation and Development, General Lamin Boyan's car was allegedly put in flames by unknown persons. The incident occurred in the early hours of Thursday at his residence in Bruford. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, but Boyan told iAfrica TV that the incident is politically motivated, and here's more of that in this report by Bintu Jallo.
Explaining the incident, General Lamin Bojan said at around 6 a.m. he got a call from his sister who informed him that the car was on flames. He said upon arrival he saw the right-hand side of the car was on flames, but there was no water to put out the fire.
So because it is also close to another car, I quickly moved that car away, and then we took rush because there was no water at the time too. You know, we have a borehole here, but it is also the tank was emptied because of there was no electricity. So we tried to look for water everywhere, and then the car at the time was in flames, as you can see. So we managed with the water that was in the tanks in the various bathrooms. You know, my sisters and my younger brother's wife, they brought those ones out, and that was what we used to extinguish the fire. And finally, we were able to do that after many trials. It's an incident that definitely shocked all of us.
He said he reported the matter to the Bruceby police station and he came with the forensic experts, but upon examining the car, they were of the belief that there was a foul play. General Lamin Bojan said the car was in a perfect condition, saying it is a car that they normally use during campaigns. Although he said he did not suspect anyone, Mr. Bojan highly believed that there is a foul play.
It is our impression that it could be something that had been perpetrated by some, evil people. That is the assumption. Because what happened is that we went to the backyard. I planted some cassava trees, but because of the wind last night, some of them fell, and we realized that there were some footmarks there. So when my sister saw, she showed me that one too. So we went and I say, but this one is strange. I asked everybody, did you people try to clear this place? No, nobody was there. In fact, the footprints are just printed in such a way, or manner that nobody from the house could claim that they were at that particular part of the compound, yesterday and today. So, and all these things happen because if it happened before, if the footprints were there before the rain, we wouldn't have seen them. Exactly, but it all happened. It were fresh footprints. And this gave the impression that, okay, maybe some people were here.
The top general politician said the political landscape is a dirty one, and as a result, he decided to join politics so as to bring sanity into the game. General Lamin Bojan said such activities will only give them more popularity because nobody wants something of this nature to happen to them. Speaking about the upcoming December 4th presidential elections, General Bojan said one has to be terrified because of the current political situation in the country.
The campaign period is going to be a little bit tough because insult, Gambian people are offended when you insult them simply because they are religious people, because they are cultured people. And because we are cultured people and because we are religious people, we do not tolerate insults and caricaturing. That is something that has been there in some political camps. It is a tool that they're using to silence their opponents, and that is not going to happen. You cannot silence anybody in this country by insulting the people or by caricaturing them. It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is going to select the leader, and Allah has done that already. We are only sabab, the human being going to the vote to vote.
Lamin Bojan said NARD is ready to preach against insults and caricaturing people that will make Gambians scared to go and vote. The December 4th presidential elections is crucial as it will be the first time that Gambians will elect a president without Jammeh as a candidate in about quarter of a century. For iAfrica News, Binta Yalo.
General Lamin Bojan, the leader of the ANRD party, blames politics for the burning of his car in his residence in Bruford. Well, there's more news coming ahead, but for now we take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back, and this is Africa TV, and once again many thanks for joining us. Now, the Gambia Police Force called on a press conference on Thursday to give update on the joint security zero crime operations across the country between the months of June and July. According to the police, 110 suspects were rounded up by patrol teams for crimes of varying degrees in different locations. Binta Jallo again has more of that in this report.
The police public relations officer, Superintendent Lamin Jai, said during the Thursday press conference that 5 out of 110 arrested by the joint patrol teams were released for lack of connection to any crime. As a matter of procedure, among law enforcement units, 60 individuals were handed to the Gambia Immigration Department for assessment on documents-related offenses. The public relations officer of the Gambia Immigration Department, Chief Superintendent Mamanding S. Diba, gave a breakdown of those handed over to his department by the Gambia Police Force.
Meaning 60 people have been handed to us who are suspected to be having some friction with immigration laws. These 60 people, majority of them were undocumented aliens who have all regularized their status in the country. There's one thing that I like to make very clear here, that even though these people, once they are handed to us for crimes of not regularizing their stay in the country, they mostly comply to regularize their stay by obtaining the relevant permits. Obtaining the permits and generating revenue for the country is not our ultimate mandate. This is part of our job, but the national security supersedes this revenue generation.
Accordingly, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency received 17 suspected players in drug-related matters, while 28 suspects were charged for various crimes of going armed in public, assault, and breaking traffic laws. Given the pave of law enforcement on the footprints of the zero crime, the Gambia police has announced the plan to launch another operation known as Clear the Streets come the 26th of July 2021. The idea for this move, according to the police spokesperson, is to sanitize of unwarranted obstacles to the pathways.
Individuals, this operation is going to affect all of obstacles that are along the highways or on public roads, causing obstruction and congestion of traffic. Individuals who have derelict vehicles need to remove their vehicles from the sides of the road. We need to be very clear about this. People who have vehicles along the highways, on the sides, need to remove those vehicles from the highways. Individuals who have mechanic garages or shops that sell tires and they are parked along the highways, we are telling them also to remove those materials from causing obstruction along the sides of the road, because it is important for the roadsides to be clear so that the traffic can flow and pedestrians and cyclists also can use the sides of the road in order to allow the free flow of traffic.
This announcement appears to be a last warning to all individuals whose goods and services are stationed either on the highways or pedestrians or parking zones. The Operation Zero Crime, according to the police, was initiated to tackle crimes and criminal activities within communities and to dismantle all criminal hideouts, as well as prosecute offenders. Few months down the line, the Gambia Police Force is of the belief that a massive reduction of the rate of crime in the country has been achieved. For Africa News, Binta Jallo.
Binta Jallo reporting there on the latest police operations in the country. Finally, tonight, the heavy downpour of rain and windstorm on Wednesday has caused severe damages to several communities across the country. According to Alhaji Mahmoud Toure, this is one of the most serious windstorms he has ever seen, which has caused a lot of damages to the people across the country. Lesise has more in this report.
Gambians welcomed this year's rainy season with deep sorrow, as windstorm that struck the nation on Wednesday night completely destroyed many households. The overwhelming disaster has left many people with a devastating sadness, for most of their materials were severely destroyed by the heavy downpour and windstorm. Speaking to iAfrica TV, Alhaji Mahmoud Toure, whose antenna failed as a result of the windstorm, said he has never witnessed such a serious and powerful storm.
I have never seen such a windstorm. This wind was so serious, and this has affected almost everyone across the country, because I have contacted those in the provinces and they also said it has caused serious damage.
Mazuru Senior Secondary School was not an exception to the damage caused by the heavy downpour and windstorm, as the school's library, market and fence all collapsed, according to the school principal Ibrahim Abayo.
We were affected. I got a call around the time the rain was coming, when it was so stormy, the wind, that we have some problems in the school. And when I came, the library was gone, part of it, as you can see from the background. And we have lost also our books, where the books were stored. We have some leakages there as well, because the corrugates were removed from the roof. And our Banta bar, that is where the women normally sell to the students, the market, also was all damaged. And we have a lot of damage to the fence on several areas, yes, some of them very close to 100 meters.
In some areas of the country, trees have fallen on transmission lines, causing blackout throughout the urban areas on Thursday. This has left several communities without access to electricity and water. As utility infrastructure was damaged, the country's main electricity supply provider NOVEC said in a statement. It could be recalled that sometimes last year, the people of the Gambia had experienced similar windstorm which has caused loss of lives and destruction of properties, particularly in the rural areas. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
And that report there by Daisy finally brings tonight news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on iAfrica.tv. But for now, though, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and do have a pleasant night. Bye for now.